بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد. هذه is it in the middle covers in the past we studied one of the maxims was سوق المسلمين سوق المسلمين, or sometimes they say السوق, السوق, which is the Islamic market. What is the definition of the Islamic market? And what does it say when we say قاعدة, the maxim of Islamic market?
So if the majority of the area is Muslim, you consider it halal, or you can eat?
It's considered, the products are considered halal, or according to other theory, not the majority in number, the influence. Who has the influence? Who owns the market? Who owns the market? Now, let's say the majority are Muslims. What does that mean? It means this is أمارية سوق المسلمين للطهارة والذكاة. Two things. أمارية. أمارية, it's an indication. Comes from what? From أمارة. Do you remember أمارة? We studied أمارة in أصول الفقه last semester. أمارة. So أمارية, an indication. An indication. أمارية سوق المسلمين. This is an indication that the Islamic market is first of all tahara. Everything is you get it there is pure. It's a pure tahara. And number two, tazkiyah, zabiha, zabiha. So both. And you don't have to ask. When you go inside the Islamic market, you don't have an obligation to double check. Even if you buy it from a shop that you don't know 100% that the owner of this shop or the seller is a Muslim. He's majhul al-hal. Majhul al-hal means I don't know anything about his religion. But as long as he's in that market, his shop is in that market, not necessarily his shop. He's standing in the middle of the market. Sometimes people don't have a shop, but they have a stand, let's say, a stand. Or not even a stand. Nowadays, in some countries, someone is selling something in the middle of the market. He doesn't have even a stand. No platform, no stand, no kiosks, no whatever. As long as he's in the market, then we automatically assume that whatever he's selling, number one, is pure, tahir, and zakat. Mudakka. Zabiha means mudakka. Mudakka. Comes from zakat. Not zakat, huh? Zakat. There is a difference between zakat, this is za, this is dal. Okay? Zakat, mudakka. Tazkiyah. Now, if there is a non-Muslim selling it, he's a non-Muslim selling it, still we consider whatever he's selling is halal as long as it is in the Islamic market.
So we have to have those two to make sure that, I mean, we don't...
No, one is enough. Which one? You mean majority or the influence?
No, let's say we are in a majority, like a country that is like 70% is Muslim. Then we go to the market, but the owner might be, I'm taking an example because I have it in mind that once I went, he's a French guy and he's selling his, but I have a strong suspicion he's not following any.
So you have ilm. In this case, you have ilm. If you have ilm,
Yeah.
then even if someone related to you, he's slaughtering the animal against the qibla, or he's not doing tasmiyah, and he's your cousin, he's your brother. In this case, you have ilm. In this case, you have certain certainty. You have a knowledge. Though in this case, you don't. We say when you go and you don't know, so you assume, unless otherwise, unless you know, as you said, you have a strong
Like let's say
conviction.
he says it's halal and he next to it is pork.
لا هذا مو دليل. This is not an evidence. Listen, people ask me in this country that there is a restaurant who says I'm halal, he's a Muslim, but he sells alcohol. I say, so what?
Yeah.
He sells halal meat and he does alcohol. So there is not selling alcohol by itself is not amara, an indication that he is lying. No. But if we know him to be a liar, non-trustworthy, this is an indication.
Let's say I don't doubt it, but let's say the method that he puts, I'm talking about, let's say he puts halal meat and next to it non-halal meat.
Costco, they do this.
Yeah. So, but I'm not sure if they mix. Let's say they mix both of them. Then
No,
yeah.
no, there is no reason to think, unless he's chaotic, you know. He's in one of these countries that they are not organized. But if he's organized, he knows what he's doing.
You say, is there, let's say you do have someone not Muslim.
Assalamu alaikum.
Someone not Muslim in a Muslim area, and we go by this maxim, Suq Muslimin, and I'm going to assume it's halal, but how much is on me to investigate it? Yeah?
You don't have to
You
investigate.
don't have to investigate, so don't even, okay.
You don't have to investigate.
Unless
As long as he's operating in that market.
So I even have to ask him, are you halal or not halal?
You don't have, according to our وَإِنْ كَانَ, it says وَإِنْ كَانَ مَنْ يَعْرِضُهَا مَجْهُولَ الْحَالِ فإن نفس كونها في سوق المسلمين يكفي للطهارة والحلية وإن كان من يعرضها مجهول الحال. By the product being sold or presented in a Muslim market is enough. It's an enough evidence for us to purchase it, even though the seller is anonymous. I know nothing about his religion. I don't know whether he's a believer, non-believer, practicing, non-practicing, Muslim, non-Muslim. As long as he's selling it in this venue, in the Islamic market.
How do we get to the ilm then? Maybe somebody told us, watch out, that guy, we checked.
This is something else. See, these qa'idah, these maxims that we study, these are based on when you don't know. Like qa'idat al-tahara, the maxim of purity. I come here and I know nothing, no previous knowledge. So I assume this desk is, but if I have a previous knowledge, I know I saw wine being thrown here, someone urinating on the desk, let's say, or there was a blood, okay? Then definitely in that case, I cannot use this maxim. I can't use it because I depend on my knowledge, on my ilm. This is in case there is no ilm. If there is no ilm, then we use these maxims. Okay? We come now to, so this is the definition. What is the definition of this maxim, Dr. Ali? Make it simple for me. The definition of Islamic market. What is the definition of this maxim? What does it say? It says, in an Islamic market, you assume every product is what? Is halal, is pure and mudhakkar. If it is meat, then it is zabiha, mudhakkar. If it is any product they sell, you assume it is halal. Okay? Unless you know. Unless sometimes you know that. Or they tell you. Either they tell you, like when I went to Morocco, Rabat, capital, there was a conference. And I came down to the breakfast assuming that this is a Muslim country. Because the king is called Amir al-Mu'mineen. They call him Amir al-Mu'mineen. Believe me, they call him Amir al-Mu'mineen. Okay? So I went to have a breakfast, and then I found pork. Pork.
Wow.
And I said, pork in a Muslim country? Majority are Muslims, and the leader is Amir al-Mu'mineen? They said, yeah, because we have foreigners who come here. Same thing in Turkey, you know. So sometimes you see it. Or you know in this country, listen, it is Suq al-Muslimin, but sometimes they serve pork. Or you know that it is Suq al-Muslimin, but you have knowledge that the meat is non-dhabiha. Then you have knowledge here. You act upon your knowledge.
So let's say you see pork, but it's an Islamic market. Do we assume that the meat is not pure and zabiha?
No. This is the example that he gave. No, maybe in an Islamic market also there is a branch because there are non-Muslims minority, so they sell them pork. Though it is haram to sell pork, you know that. It's haram. Wine, it's haram to sell it. Pork is haram to sell it. Even to those who eat it or drink it. Still haram.
Yeah, because there was a debate
For a
on that.
Muslim.
For a Muslim, is haram to sell pork or wine. Haram. So in this case, but this is different than non-slaughtering, non-zabiha. Non-zabiha, according to some scholars, they say you can sell the non-dhabiha, the non-mudhakka, non-Islamically slaughtered, you may sell it to the non-Muslims. You may sell it. But you can't sell them pork. Even to non-Muslims, you can't sell them pork. And you can't sell them alcohol, wine. You can't do these two products. Okay? Now, what are the madarik? Madarik means the evidence. Because this is, remember, this class of fiqh, we study the evidence too. When there is a fatwa or there is a maxim, it says this is halal, this is haram, we must go through the fatwa, the evidence. Number one evidence, what was it? Do you remember? From riwayat, exactly. Riwayat. So number one, traditions. Traditions, which is riwayat. How many we had? We had sahiha, we had muwathaqa. What's the difference between sahiha and muwathaqa?
Shia.
Sahiha, the narrators are imamis. They don't use Shia, imamis. Because there are Shias who are non-imamis. Yes. So imamis, okay? This is sahiha. Muwathaqa, most are imamis, maybe one or two are non-imamis, but still they accept it. Okay? So part of it is we have sahiha, we have muwathaqa. Sahiha is, we studied sahihat Ishaq ibn Ammar. This is important, sahiha. Sahihat Ishaq ibn Ammar. And goes to Imam al-Kadhim. We said al-Abd al-Salih, the righteous servant, is the nickname of al-Imam al-Kadhim, alayhi salam, the seventh Imam. So this was one of them in that Sahiha, where it says that they sell fur or leather, okay? Al-Fara al-Yamani. But they sell it in a Muslim society, but there are non-Muslims also in that society. So the Imam says, if the majority of the society are Muslims, then فلا بأس. You can use it because the majority of the people are Muslims. And the same thing with Sahihatul Halabi, another Sahiha. Sahihatul Halabi. This is the second one. Sahihatul Halabi was from Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam. Again, about the shoes that are sold in the market. And Imam says, yes, you buy it and you can wear it. And also, some of them are not shoes, khuf. Khuf is a leather socks. Okay? So Imam say, you can pray with it unless you know this is meter. Unless you know. So once you know, you don't. But if you don't know, you pray in it. And then Sahihat Fudayl, and there are many others. Okay? So this was number one. What was the number two evidence? What was number two? Number one was tradition. What was number two? Beside the tradition, what is the other evidence? Number two is the conduct of the virtuous. The conduct of the virtuous or the devout. Okay? Siratul Muslimin. Or Siratul Mutasharri'ah. Okay? This is number two. Sirat al-Mutasharri'ah. The conduct of the devout, those who are devout. They used to do this in the market. Once they go into an Islamic market, they purchase with no reservation. Okay? With no reservation, they sell, they purchase. Number three evidence is what? Yes. Yes.
How would we know that? How is that
From their stories. Because if it was otherwise, we would hear, they would record that someone, he abstained from dealing or in an Islamic market. Or if he goes to an Islamic market, he will double check. They tell us. Since they did not tell us, they are silent about it. It means they used to go to the market, they purchase. And mutasharra'a, they could be imams, our imams, and their followers. And others, of course, who are devout, practicing. Mutasharra'a means practicing Muslims, not just Muslims. Practicing Muslims. Mutasharra'a, they take care of the sharia. Okay? They take care of the shara'. This is the meaning of mutasharri'a. Okay? Just when we say here, this is a practicing Christian, practicing Muslim. They are devout. The third is what? What is the third, my friends?
Can you use analogy here or no?
Some, they use the third evidence, they call it usr and haraj, the hardship. The non-hardship concept, non-hardship. Al-usr wal-haraj. Al-usr wal-haraj. What does that mean, my friends? What does usr and haraj mean? Usr, difficulty. Usr, difficulty. Or actually, haraj is hardship, usr is difficulty. What does that mean?
You have no choice.
Exactly. Where do you go? Where do you buy it from? Jupiter? Or you travel to another country? This is your society, it's an Islamic society, Islamic country. The vast majority are Muslims. So if you don't do that, if you don't purchase the meat from the market, where do you go? You can't leave your work and work as a butcher, You can't do that. You can't grow your vegetables and your... So you have to go to the market. You have to deal. You can't. So this causes you usran haraj. And Allah says in the Quran, ما جعل عليكم في الدين من حرج. This is verse in the Quran. ما جعل عليكم. ما جعل عليكم. He did not put, جعل puts upon you. عليكم upon you. في الدين in matter of religion. في الدين من حرج. من means any. Haraj means hardship. He doesn't want you to go through hardship. Because some of these hardships are intolerable. Intolerable. They are very difficult. Some of it, sometimes it is tolerable. You can tolerate. But sometimes you can't. And رفع عن أمتي. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam has a hadith. رفع عن أمتي تسع. 9 things have been removed from my ummah. It means they have no obligation. 9 things. One of them, the haraj. When sometimes you go, let's say, this one, you know, if I don't eat here, well, there's no other food. No other food. Okay? So, or sometimes, this is an ibadat. Sometimes, or. In the prayers you have to stand, you have to do ruku', you have to do sujood. You are sitting in an airplane, it's packed, completely packed. Either United or American Airlines, alhamdulillah. Even the bathroom is packed, you know. No space. And every day they are making it smaller and smaller. Have you seen these in new jets? I've seen them. Boeing 737, 900 series, brand new. But try to go to the bathroom. Even a person like my size, a small size, cannot make it inside, believe me. Let alone someone who's a huge American style. So where do you go? It's the time for salat. If you reach your destination, it's sunset, let's say. You sit on the seat, on your own seat, and you do your salat. It's haraj. Where do you go? You can't stand. Once you stand, they land the aircraft at the nearest airport. So this is haraj. Haraj, this is an ibadat. We have haraj in mu'amalat. Mu'amalat such as what? Mu'amalat is marriage. Part of the mu'amalat is marriage. Okay? Contracts. A lady who cannot live with this man, she cannot live with him. She can't tolerate him. Either his akhlaq is not good, or he's stingy, or, she can't handle him. Too much for her. When her life reaches usran haraj, she can ask for divorce. ما جعل عليكم في الدين من حرج. Religion is not a barbaric religion. It's a merciful, humane religion. Today, a lady sent me a clip. I've seen this clip maybe 5 or 6 years ago. A female in Somalia, I believe. She was being stoned. They put her up to here in a hole. They dig a hole. And many people, they stand and they started stoning her until she dies. And then they cover her head, and she was screaming. Adultery. Can you imagine in a country where people have no food, they take a lady. She told me, is this Islam? I said, no, this is not Islam. This is definitely not Islam. First of all, Islam says the only one who has right to implement Sharia is the Prophet or the Imam, not others. This is number 1. Number 2, even the Prophet has the right to forgive. And if the ayah says stoning, the ayah was a prevention, not a cure. So when people read it, they say no. They think about it. They think twice about this, about the consequences. So he says, it's not worth it. If I am caught, they will do this to me. It's a prevention, not a cure. Number 3, in Somalia, where people have no food to eat, no food to eat. How can you capture someone and you punish her or punish him because they did this? It's like ISIS. Yesterday I saw an interview when Abu Kamal was freed, the city of Abu Kamal in Syria, yesterday from ISIS. They showed a man, wallahi I was crying. They cut his arm. One arm and 1 feet. They showed it.
He was from Daesh?
No,
Oh,
a
Daesh
citizen.
did it to him.
Daesh did it to him. Why? Because he said, I have kids. I went to them, I said, I have kids. I need food. They didn't. I went the second time. The third time I had to go and get some food for. So they captured me. Listen, for getting food. And you know, even Sharia says, for food you don't cut the hands. If that guy is hungry, you have to give him and apologize to him.
So they cut it off because he asked?
No, because
No, because he stole the
Because
food.
They consider it they stole.
Yeah.
Why did they cut off his leg?
Wow.
Double punishment.
I saw him on camera yesterday.
Wow.
See? So, people who do not study the philosophy of religion. See, philosophy is more important. People who take religion literally, they don't take the spirit, they don't consider or study or understand the spirit of this legislation. They don't. This is what happens. So this is the second evidence, non-hardship. ما جعل عليكم في الدين من حرج. If you go to a Muslim market and everything is, and every time you have to ask, are you Muslim? Okay. How did you slaughter this? Show me. You can't. It takes you, the shopping will take you 10 hours rather than half an hour. I attended a banquet on Saturday of one of the Muslim organizations, and a little girl, I think 4 or 5 years old, her dad said, my daughter tonight, she would go to every table and she would ask them, are you Muslim? Are you Muslim? I said, but this is not good. You should not be proud of this. So what? If they are Muslims or non-Muslims, even if they are non-Muslims, it happened that the one who was sitting next to me, he was a Jew. He was a lawyer. He came to that banquet. So it's not good to teach our kids to ask people, are you Muslim or non-Muslim? Even if in a non-Islamic, so what? Suppose he would say, I am not a Muslim. She would not greet him. It's not good. So this is usr and haraj. What is the third?
Can I ask you with usr and haraj, is there prerequisites for the usr? Like, meaning, for example, food, the example. What is the barrier to say, okay, this is now
It is
my usr and haraj?
the assessment with the society, with the urf, the general opinion of the people.
So I can't make my own decision?
No. The society has to decide whether this is really usr. Yes, this is really hardship. Come to fasting. Fasting, many people say, this is usr for me if I don't eat for 2 hours. For me too, if I don't eat for 3-4 hours, it's usr. But would that be acceptable? No. So you have to stay longer. Yeah, 20 hours, like those who live in the northern hemisphere, the sunset is 11 p.m., 12 midnight. This is really usr and haraj. Okay? So the society has to decide. The urf, the general opinion has to decide whether this is usr, hardship and difficulty or not.
So that's one of the principles of the future.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Now, we go to the number 4. Number 4, it says the Muslim hand. Actually, Muslim hand, whenever something is possessed by Muslim, then we automatically assume that this is clean, tahir, and halal, both. If you are walking and a Muslim gives you a sandwich, do you have to ask? No, you don't have to ask. Do you have to tell him, oh, is this alcohol in this or not? Let's say you received some chocolates and you don't know. You don't know. Some people, they go, they investigate, they call the company, they read the ingredients, they, take it to the lab to examine it. You don't have to. If the Muslim gave it to you, unless unless someone else told you, listen, this brand contains alcohol, so here. Here you have ilm. But if you don't know, I don't know. And a Muslim gave it to me. Should I ask here? No, you don't ask.
Okay, is there, and I don't mean to be controversial or anything, but is there different types of Muslim markets? Because let's say, one society is definitely, they put emphasis on halal or zabiha, halal, versus other Muslim societies that their definition of halal may not be, for instance, zabiha. You know what I mean? Let's say they consider eating from Ahl Kitab halal, for instance, the meat. Is that considered a different market?
We will come to this. I think we'll come to this. I'll answer you soon. So this is Muslim hand. So if you receive something taken from a Muslim hand, then that's it. You assume that this is halal and this is what? Dhabiha, mudhakka. Okay? And so even if that product, you don't get it in the Muslim market, just follow me on this, Dr. Amit. Look at me, please. We said Muslim market, you enter a Muslim market, everything is halal. But now someone is standing outside the market. It's not the market. He's standing in the neighborhood somewhere in the street and he's selling something and he's a Muslim. How do you deal with him? Same rule or not? Because this is not a market. He's standing in the street at an intersection. Let's say he's selling something at an intersection. It's not a market.
Not a market, but you said who's controlling the
but he's a Muslim. He's a Muslim.
So we know it's influence.
Exactly. Doesn't have to be. Muslim market does not mean a structured place. Muslim market is a nickname for the Muslim society. The majority of the people in this country are Muslims. So whether he sell it in a structured place, in a mall, in a restaurant, or in the street, standing in the street. Okay? Or he delivers that. You don't know his place. You called, there is a telephone number, and the guy, he delivered that to you. So it is still halal. Maybe he did that at home. He cooked the food at home. So it doesn't have to be a shop or a mall or a marketplace per se.
This is like an example, like in New York, they have the people out in the streets.
Halal guys?
Yeah.
Halal guys, I've seen them. They have one here in Costa Mesa. Yeah.
Oh.
They have one in Costa Mesa. Recently they opened near my house. Yeah.
So those are okay. So
They investigated. Many people investigated them and they found out that it is halal.
So we can eat.
And the Americans, there are more non-Muslims standing in the line than Muslims. New York, yes. At lunchtime, you see American people standing.
Actually, I know some non-Muslims said, oh, the halal meat is
More
much
delicious.
tastier.
Yes, that's right. Yes. Yeah. So this is, I went to New York and we had to eat from,
53rd and 6th Street, I think. I actually know it. Yeah.
Oh, they're all over the place.
No, especially the halal guys. The specific guys they were known to be in a corner. No, they're not all halal guys. But there was actually a halal guys.
Oh,
vendor. Yeah.
Okay. Now, when we say Muslims, does that mean a Shia Muslim or a Sunni Muslim or a Sufi Muslim or Dobandi? Dobandi, one of the groups in India, huge one. So which one do we mean? It is all Muslimin. Whoever says La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam.
So they don't have to be.
Why?
They don't have to be devout.
No. See, we are not talking about devout or not. Devout is something else, Habibi. Don't get confused.
No, but I'm saying this person,
No,
this
no,
Muslim,
no,
they just call themselves
Muslim. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. He doesn't have to be Imami, Ithna Ashari, because first of all, the hadith, the Sahiha, the Muwathaqa that we mentioned of our Imams, they never said he has to be Imami, he has to be Ithna Ashari, he has to be one of our followers. It's a universal. The second evidence is that at that time, at the market, not all people were followers of Ahlul Bayt. Many of them were not. And the Imams considered the market to be an Islamic market. Okay? So, here we do not distinguish between Shia or non-Shia. Here, when it says Suq al-Muslimin, as long as they are like a country like Pakistan, Indonesia, for instance, most of them are Sunnis, but they are Muslims. We treat that as an Islamic market. Number 6, the last one. Huh? 3, 4, 5. No, I think this is number 6.
Which one was 5?
Any Muslim.
Which one was number 5?
That is 4.
Yadul Muslim.
The other person, one guy.
Muslim hand. If you buy it from Muslim hand, huh?
Followers, could be showers.
Number 5, he is a non-sectarian. We call it non-sectarian. This is number 5. Number 6. What is number 6, my friends? Number 6, it says, made in the land of Islam. If you buy a product even from American market, European market, but you know that this product is made in the land of Islam, then you treat this as halal. Even if you buy it from non-Muslim market. But this comes, there is a tag on it. Genuine tag. No, not, genuine. It has to be genuine tag. Not someone came and he sticked something. No, it has to be genuine. So you make sure that this tag is authentic, not a fraud. And it says made in Pakistan, made in Iran, made in Saudi Arabia, which I doubt they made nothing, alhamdulillah.
Bombs?
Yeah. Bombs, they just drop them. They don't make them, yeah. Yeah. They make only
Yes.
radicalism, alhamdulillah. The only product they have, terrorism. So, any Muslim majority country, then even if you buy it from a non-Muslim market, or sometimes there is a merchant who's non-Muslim, you are buying it from a non-Muslim source, but you know before this guy, it was in the hand of a Muslim. The product in this shop came from a Muslim source. Then again, you treat that unless you know otherwise. I keep repeating this. Unless you know otherwise. If you know otherwise, you act upon your knowledge. Even if you're in your father's house. But if not, then you assume that this product is dhabiha and also halal. Okay. Now, my friends, let's go to the next maxim. And this maxim is called the principle of validity. The principle of validity. What does that mean? It means asalatul sahha. Asalatul sahha. أصالة قاعدة أصالة الصحة. The principle of validity. What does that mean? What does that mean? Principle of validity. Let me go to my book. Okay. أصالة الصحة means هو حمل فعل المسلم على الصحة عند الشك, at the time of doubt, عند الشك, at the time of doubt, Dr. Omid,
Yes.
at the time of doubt, عند الشك, write the translation. يحمل, you bear the conduct, يحمل عمل المسلم على الصحة. You bear his action upon validity. Validity. In what areas? In what areas? What does it mean? We consider him to be right, his actions to be valid. What does that mean? Can you give me an example? Okay, fiqh is divided into how many sections? Mostly fiqh. When you go to the Risala, how many parts it has? How many main parts? No. Main parts. Ibadat and muamalat. Ibadat and muamalat. Ibadat. Acts of worship, muamalat, contracts. Okay? And of course, part of this, remind me to tell you, part of muamalat is uqood. Uqood, contracts. Yeah. Or to be more accurate, إيقاع معاملات. معاملات has عقد and إيقاع. عقود and إيقاعات. I will speak about it. Okay, I will speak about it. Now عبادات. We assume he did the prayers. Should we doubt about his prayers? No. Should we doubt about his wudu? No.
Who's he, say it, when we say he?
Okay.
Anybody?
Okay. I come to the masjid. Let's say I know the imam. It's time for salat. Should I say the imam probably he made his wudu mistakenly, incorrectly? Should I say this? I should not say this. So I assume that his wudu is correct. I assume what he's wearing is tahir. Okay? I assume his prayers is correct. Same thing with fasting. This is regarding the ibadat. Or hajj. Hajj, we assume that someone, they used to ask someone who would want to marry their daughter, part of the negotiations that he has to go to hajj. Because they think if he goes to hajj, he's going to burn out every sins he did. He's going to come back a pure person. So he goes to hajj. And then he comes to his father-in-law and he tells him, here I am. You asked me to go to hajj and I went to hajj. So should he tell him, no, I think your hajj was incorrect. Go do it again. Or he should accept that from him. He should assume that his hajj is correct, inshallah. Okay, so this is regarding the ibadat. Regarding the muamalat. Muamalat are of two types. One, uqood. Uqood, what is the singular for uqood?
Aqd.
Aqd. Not aqd. This is Lebanese. Aqd. Aqd. Aqd.
لو يمسي عقد.
إيه عقد.
حتى مش قرار.
This is aqd. 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 Okay? This is aqd. Aqd is contract. Okay? Contract. Iqa'. So this is plural. Iqa'at. The singular is iqa'. Iqa' is what? Iqa' is unilateral. Iqa' is unilateral instigation from one side. Unilateral. What is the example of act, contract? Give me a couple of examples of contract.
Marriage.
Marriage has to be both, they agree, the husband and the wife, to get married. So contract has two sides. Or bay', shira, business dealings. It has to have the consent of both parties. Give me an example of iqa', unilateral, one-sided.
I mean, it could be somebody who feels like divorce.
Divorce, unfortunately. Divorce is one-sided. So even if the wife says no, and if the husband wants to divorce, unfortunately, because it is iqa', it's not a contract.
Heredity also is.
Earth, yeah. Earth is also, because earth, he leaves the money. But he can refuse, to accept. The other side, it didn't happen so far, as long as I know. Nobody refused his father's, earth. But divorce is part of the iqa'.
Loan to a family member?
Though here, I will try to make the wife also accept that. Although it is iqa', but I deal with it as a contract. Because we have different circumstances here. In the Eastern countries, or traditional tribal countries, the wife, she doesn't work, she doesn't go to school, she cannot sustain herself, she does not generate any income, she does not know where to go, so she's totally dependent on her husband. He has to take care of everything from A to Z. This is why, if he doesn't want her, he can say no. But here the wife, she contributes. Come on, I contributed, I paid for this house, I paid for the bills, I paid for the down payment, I took care of your kids, I was a chauffeur, I was a chef, I was...
So can public opinion sway that, make it one-sided to
Yeah, it depends on where you live. If where you live has different regulations, then you have to treat it accordingly. If the wife here, she works and she helps. In many situations I see this, that sometimes the husband does not even work. The wife is the one who's generating money. And then he wants to dictate to her, don't go there, don't do this. To go to work and work 10 hours a day, it's okay. But if she wants to go to her daddy's house, don't go there. No, you can't. So here, when you have different circumstances, then you have different rulings. Yeah. Okay. الْمُؤْمِنُونَ عِنْدَ شُرُوطِهِمْ. See, we have an important maxim that we're going to study. الْمُؤْمِنُونَ عِنْدَ شُرُوطِهِمْ. We come together, two believers, male, female, two males, two females. They say, listen, let's establish this relationship and put these conditions. Once they put conditions and both of them agree to these conditions, they have to respect them. As long as these conditions do not violate Islam, does not violate the Quran, nothing is haram in them. Otherwise, Sharia says, okay, you can get together and establish a relationship and put conditions. And this is what I say to people, even when it comes to uqud, to marriage. I say to the wife, listen, before you go into this, the frenzy of your wedding and become very busy and you become intoxicated with your wedding gown and wedding party and wedding reception, think before that season arrives, where you can't focus on anything except the wedding things. Think about the future. If you want to put a clause, stipulate a clause into your marriage contract, you have to put it now. You can tell him, listen, الطلاق بيد من أخذ بالساق. Divorce is unilateral but in my case, it's not unilateral. Okay? I have a say. Not just you. You don't have total freedom 100%. I have a say. If I don't like you, if you drink alcohol, if you break this law, if you do this, I can divorce myself. So give me the authorization now. Though it is unilateral instigation, but the wife can get a proxy from the husband. But before marriage, not after. If they agree, then they have to abide by that. Then the husband cannot tell her no. She tells him, if you break these things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, okay, then I am free. I can divorce myself from you. You already have given me permission. Wikala. You already have given me now. So these things can be modified. Yani the law is sometimes flexible. Flexible. It follows the stipulations of both parties. Okay? So, the meaning of قاعدة الصحة, the principle of validity, is that we assume the conduct of every Muslim as correct and authentic. Okay? And this is regarding ibadat and mu'amalat. Now, if he's doing something, amal, and we have doubt during what he was doing or after he finished his work, should we still assume that his work was completed and it was correct? Or there is a difference between while he was doing it, B, when he finished it? Do we distinguish between the two, or they have the same ruling?
Same ruling?
What do you think? Do you know what I said?
Yeah, I'm thinking, because there's doubt in both cases, and you said the maxims are applied when there's doubt.
Okay.
But
the doubt is while he's in the middle of doing something,
Mhm.
or he has to finish, I have to wait, and if I have doubt about it. Or it's the same, it doesn't matter whether it was while he's doing the work or after he finished the work.
I guess I don't understand. Yeah, what is he doing? Like anything, something.
I think there is a difference, right? Like,
Take this as an example. Contract. He's selling something. Okay? And while he was in the process of selling, we should assume, if we have doubt, we should assume he's correct. Or this only applies if he finishes, the sale is done, the deal is done, and then if we have doubt, we say, no, it's okay, the deal is correct. What do you think, Nadeem?
I mean, like, if the contract is done, then the shak is, it's like in a salah, right? When you are done.
No, that's a different maxim. Don't mix that. I know what, qa'idatul faragh. We have a special maxim about this. Qa'idatul faragh, the maxim of finishing. We will come to it. They interlap. This one with the other maxim of finishing, qa'idatul faragh, they interlap in some areas. We will distinguish between them.
You don't know the file.
I'll give you an example, Ali. A lady she was married previously and she was divorced. Do you have, and you want to marry her, not you, Ali, Dr. Ali, someone else wants to marry her, okay? Interested in marrying. Do you have to go and check her papers and see whether the divorce was correct, authentic, or maybe she's not divorced. Maybe she just left it. She walked away from marriage, as many people they do.
So
They
based
do.
on saying the conduct of every Muslim was correct, you have to assume that she's telling the truth.
Exactly. Exactly. We have to assume. Or you think that, listen, the divorce takes several months. Maybe she's not. She's in the process. Or no, it's finalized. There are two cases. Either she's in the process or it is finalized, done. So in this case, how do you treat this? If she tells you, I am divorced. She tells you, I am divorced. Okay?
It sounds like you have to treat it like she's divorced. Yeah.
Exactly. صحة. The validity of what she says. Validity of her divorce. Divorce is finalized. And I assume that she's divorced. And I don't have to go and do second divorce.
I mean, it's kind of, I guess, a tangent thing, but the divorce, like let's say Islamically versus divorce in government. Somebody.
No, we are speaking about,
Islamically.
of course.
But in real life. I mean,
But here again, see, because of the circumstances, here we wait until the legal divorce is done.
So it's haram.
Here we don't do second marriage unless we see the papers of the government, not just the religious one.
So is the statement correct? It's haram to marry someone who's religiously divorced but not yet legally in the country they're in.
It's not haram. It's not haram. If you do it, it does not mean that the marriage is invalid.
Okay.
But because the government does tell us don't do this until she's legally divorced, so we have to follow the government. But it's not haram. It's illegal. There is a difference between being haram and being illegal. Now, I'll give you an example. What are the results? The results, if you marry someone who's already married, then that contract is invalid. And if that person sleeps with her, thinking that this is his wife,
Adultery.
not adultery. This is wat'u shubha. This is not. See, we have adultery, zina. We have wat'u shubha and we have the halal. This is in the middle because he didn't know. But unfortunately, even if he didn't know, the consequences is that he cannot marry her at all for the rest of his life. Even though he didn't know.
Even though he practiced this maxim?
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. If he, let's say she cheated on him, she lied to him. She said, I'm divorced, but she was not divorced. Religiously, she was not divorced. She had a fight with her, fist fight with her husband. She left the house, and she said to her husband, I don't like you, blah, 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 you know. And then she goes to him, and she tells him, listen, he asks her, are you married? Are you single? She says, no, I'm divorced. And then he has consummate, the relationship with her. Unfortunately, she becomes forbidden to him. As a punishment to her, not just to him. Maybe he's not guilty. As a punishment to her.
But she would be considered doing adultery. He would be
Yeah.
considered criminal.
Shubha.
Shubha.
He's not charged. Shubha, because he thought she's married. Okay? So here in this country, we don't do the second marriage unless we see the finalized paper of the first divorce. We have to see it. Not because this is religiously mandated, no, because it is legally mandated. وصلى الله وسلم على سيدنا محمد وأهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين